When you've got these amazing characters in your head, you can't help but want to give each one of them their own time to shine. But in a one-shot manga where you've only got about 16 to 20 pages to tell your story, how do you even do that? The trick? You don't. You don't try to make 2, 3, 4 characters shine in a one-shot. You only need one protagonist to focus on. The thing is that most beginners struggle with this. It's amazing how many times we've asked beginners, "So, who's your main character?" And we get,
"All of them."
They're both the main characters.
Yeah, that's not how it works. I mean, look at Naruto with all its characters and hundreds of chapters. But if I ask you, who's the MC? The answer is clear. Naruto. And we'd probably all have the same answer. Today, we'll help you pick the right lead for your manga. And this choice could literally make or break your story. We've helped hundreds of beginners fix this problem with the help of pro-Japanese mangakas who have decades of experience. And if you stay until the end, we'll reveal how you can land an all-expense paid trip to Japan's biggest comic convention to pitch your work directly to publishers. Be honest. When you think of your favorite manga, what do you remember most clearly? The dialogue? World building? Chances are, it's the characters you think of first. Characters are the lifeblood of your manga. They're who your readers connect with. And none matter more than the protagonist. If readers don't like them, instant game over. So if you want to craft a main character your readers will root for, you need experience. You need practice. That's why beginners should start small, with a one-shot, not a full series. Because in a one-shot, you can focus on developing one character first. If you haven't heard of a one-shot, it's basically just a short story ranging from 16 to 60 pages. But we recommend only doing 16 to 20 if this is your first time. According to Hirohiko Araki, creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
the basic approach in a one-shot manga is to limit the number of characters, but to fully flesh them out. The key number is 3: protagonist, adversary, and ally.
Your protagonist's actions will move the story forward, while everyone else either supports, reacts, or gets in their way. But here's where things get tricky. A protagonist is not equal to a main character. What do I mean? In the world of manga, you can have a bunch of main characters, people who are the key puzzle pieces in the story. Without them, you won't get to see the full picture. But out of all your main characters, one of them will always stand out. That's your protagonist. Think of My Hero Academia. There's a bunch of main characters, including students, heroes, and even villains. But there's only one protagonist, Deku. Sure, Shigaraki and Bakugo are super important too, but it's ultimately Deku's actions that matter most in the story. So, while your protagonist is always a main character, not every main character can get the same spotlight. If you're not sure if your manga's on the right track, then book a free one-on-one manga consultation call with us. Our pro mangaka mentors will help you figure out what's holding you back. And we'll give you an exact roadmap on how to make manga with characters that'll hook your readers from page 1. The best part? We're sending our best students on an all-expense paid trip to Japan's biggest comic convention. There, you'll get the rare chance to get feedback directly from Japanese publishers. We'll even translate your manga to Japanese and hire a translator on the ground. Even if you're a total beginner with no story yet, that's okay. We'll teach you everything you need to know. So, if you're ready to kickstart your manga journey, just book your free manga consultation call through the link in the description. If you have your own OCs, you're probably attached to them. And in your mind, they all probably deserve the spotlight. That's the kind of thinking that leads to big mistakes. Here are some of the most common ones so you know what to avoid. Mistake number 1. Thinking everyone's my protagonist. Pro manga editor Vivi insists.
It's always best to just aim for one protagonist.
Look at One Piece. The Straw Hats crew are all main characters, but it's Luffy who takes center stage. Even the one-shot for One Piece only focused on Luffy, and the mangaka only expanded the cast when his manga was serialized. Or Attack on Titan. Levi, Armin, and Mikasa are all fan favorites. But without Eren, there's no story. If you try to split the focus, the story gets messy. Readers get confused, and you lose momentum. That's an issue our students face when they can't decide on a protagonist. Our student Yuan faces the same problem with his intended MC.
I also notice that sometimes he goes to the background.
And that's a big problem, because in a one-shot, your protagonist has to take the lead, not the other characters. As pro manga editor Vivi says,
Do not make the other characters push the story for him. It has to be him.
if your protagonist fades into the background, you might end up with a situation like Jujutsu Kaisen, where suddenly Gojo is all anyone talks about. And at times, Yuji, the actual protagonist, gets ignored. So if you're a beginner, stick to one MC. Mistake number 2, the two protagonist trap. We've met beginners who think they can have two characters as their protagonists. And you might feel that way because there are stories out there that give quite a bit of screen time to two characters. Take Ed and Al from Fullmetal Alchemist as an example. But here's the thing. Even if you have two main characters with almost the same amount of screen time and development, you still need to pick one lead. Vivi says,
The protagonist is one. I know there are people that believe you can have two protagonists. I personally don't believe it. It's just that one will always stand out more than the other.
in Death Note, Light and L might have had similar amount of screen time, but it was Light's story that we followed. It was his choices that shaped the narrative. So, if you're making a one-shot and you want to have two leads, one or both might end up underdeveloped. Instead of writing good manga, you end up with something half-baked. In Vivi's words,
You are trying to tell both stories at the same time and you end up telling nobody's story.
mistake number 3, choosing the wrong lead. Most artists have their favorite OC, their manga's protagonist. And there's nothing wrong with that. Except when they don't match your chosen genre. Like one of our students, Tracy, who wanted to make shonen manga. While she was planning her story, she unintentionally made the old master the protagonist instead of his young student. It's like Yoda stealing the show from Luke Skywalker, the supposed hero of the story. Which wouldn't be a bad story, but it just wouldn't fit the genre. Remember, shonen generally targets boys that are 12 to 18 years old. An old man as the MC might not be as relatable. That's why Vivi advised Tracy to rewrite her story to fit her audience.
If the boy is your protagonist, he should have the big climax in the story. It shouldn't be the old man. The old man is just there to give him the push. It shouldn't have that much of a spotlight.
Choosing the right lead means the difference between a reader who's hooked on your story and a reader who'll drop it without a second thought. If you already have OCs, ask yourself,
Do they suit the genre of my story? Do I have a character who could be a better protagonist?
If you're not sure about your answers, consider The Promised Neverland. Why do you think Emma was chosen as the lead instead of Norman or Ray? All three of them are compelling characters, but Norman and Ray are more logical. That means they wouldn't struggle as much as Emma throughout the story. And in manga, struggle is life. Struggle is interesting. Struggle makes the pages turn, especially with horror or thriller genres. Vivi says,
We need somebody to react shocked. This is a story about shock, survival, fear. If these two were the protagonists, we wouldn't feel fear. They will be too controlled in their expressions and in their actions. So we need somebody more relatable.
That's what you want in your story. Someone your readers can connect with. Remember, your protagonist is the one with the biggest growth arc. It's their struggles, changes, wins, and losses that keep your readers hooked. And if you really want to give your characters some screen time, they can always star in their own one-shot down the line. But for now, focus on a single protagonist and make sure to pick the right one. Got a bunch of OCs, but you're still not sure who should take the spotlight? That's okay. Even if you don't have ideas yet, we're here to help you figure it out. Just book a free one-on-one manga consultation call with us. You'll get the opportunity to work with pro-Japanese mangakas and even get the chance to pitch to publishers in Japan. The best part? You'll be surrounded by a support system of coaches and aspiring mangakas just like you. So, if you're ready for that next level, just hit the link in the description. And if you want to know more about how to make a good protagonist, watch this video next.